Welcome back, or nice to meet you. This is Mia Marie with a tour around my apartment in Glace Hall at Founders Green, Mica. Settling in front of an elementary school, this area seems pretty safe. Walking down this way 7 minutes takes you to the Save-A-Lot, Walgreens, and Laundromat. If you walk past this elementary school, it can either take you into the city or it could take you to the rail line where it will take you to the city, or it will take you in the direction of the Amtrak of Penn Station. Now, if you walk behind this apartment complex, mind you, you still have to be outside of the apartment complex. So if you go down this street, make a left, and go behind the apartment, you will catch the bus stop. The bus itself is pretty crowded. The bus stop might not be crowded, but the bus itself is usually crowded. And there's been plenty of times where I've missed the shuttle and I've had to take the public transportation. So if you miss it, be prepared to be on a crowded bus. It's not crowded all the time, but it seemed like in my experience, majority of the times I've taken it, it was very crowded and can get very uncomfortable quickly. So try to catch the shuttle. Coppin State students and Mica students, the shuttle comes right in front of the apartment. However, Coppin State students specifically, the times usually range from 9:25 to 10:25, 11:25. It comes like in 25 increments, not 25-minute increments, but at that 25-minute. So try to be out there 3 minutes before, because if, depending on the driver, if they don't see you, they're not gonna stop. And it, like I said, it depends. So sometimes they'll wait 5 minutes. Other times they'll just go on by the building. So make sure you're 3 minutes ahead of the time you need to be there to make sure you can catch the shuttle. Because if they don't see you, they're going to keep going unless it's a driver that stops. Also, the last shuttle arrives at, say, 10:25. So the last shuttle from the school is 9:45, and you get back to here at 10:25. And then I'm not sure what the first shuttle is. I think it's like 7:25, but it also depends on weekdays and weekends, and you'll get an email about all the times. Another note is that the transportation takes about 25 minutes, so plan accordingly with your classes. As you can see, security is pretty tight around here. They have cameras everywhere, and just to get into the lobby, you have to do your badge. And then to get into the apartment complex, you have to do your badge again. So this is our lobby area, our mail room, our vending machines. Pretty quaint, nice little hangout area if you need. Amazon Dropbox, vending machine for your late night snackies, and a mailbox room, which I never used personally. I didn't have mail coming in like that unless it was a package. And so you'll see the mail room where all of our packages come in. So this little safe haven here is a nice little lobby. It's a nice little area for you to unwind, just chill out, hang out if you want to be outside of the apartment. So they have a little game system here on the TV. I don't know what else they offer on the TV because I never used it personally. And they also have like a little conference room, so I don't know if we're able to use that either. But ask around if that's something you're interested in. But I spent a lot of nights here the last 2 months of my time here. I spent a lot of nights here, doing TikToks, getting homework done. And I've even taken a nap. It's just a really nice area to be in when you don't necessarily want to be in your apartment. There were a lot of sleepless nights that I just wanted to stay up and get some work done. So this was a nice place where I can make as much noise as I wanted, to an extent to not bother the security downstairs. But, I can be loud. I can be alone. I can just enjoy being in a room by myself, So this is a really nice space to just relax, vibe out, do whatever you need to do, essentially. Not many people pass through here, and I will say for those rainy nights, this is a great passageway to get to, a little closer to the apartment without getting all soaked. So instead of going through the lobby straight through the basketball court, you could just go up here through this lobby and go underneath this little pathway past all these doors, and at least you'll be a little bit dry. Actually, you'll be dry all the way down until you can't no more. So really nice area. Really nice spot to pass through. Really nice view over the basketball court, over the lawn and everything like that. They also have a little book on the table, or a big book rather, if anybody's interested in, I don't know, the history of this place or something. I don't know what it's about. But I thought maybe people would be interested in the storage option over the summer. So that is an option if you need it. Just look at the table or ask somebody that might know something around there. So as you leave the lobby, you will come upon the basketball court, and you'll find that there is a little stand where you would normally scan your badge, but we haven't used that this year that I've attended this apartment complex. So you can use that just for the handicap button if you need the door open for you. But if you go to your right, you'll find that the package room, the mail room for packages is here. So if it's not open, you just knock between the hours 12 to 4:30. Sometimes there was like maybe one or twice that they were late. So if they're late, just go ahead and call the security. Go back to the security and ask them to call them, see what's going on, if they're coming in, that type of thing. I did find it kind of hard to navigate these hours because it is Monday through Friday, 12 to 4:30. Those hours I was in school all day, like literally back-to-back classes. So Fridays were my main days, the only days I could attempt to get there. Fridays were my off days, but I still had a class, say, at 1 or 2 p.m. So, and they could have ran till 4 o'clock. And being that the shuttle, it's just a whole lot of issues that kind of surround that time for me personally. But, you just got to make it work if you want your package. So you find a way. You got to find a way. So here we are at the elevator, going through the basketball court. We have an elevator. You, of course, can take the stairs on either sides of the apartment complex. But here's the elevator where you will need to, bring your stuff up in, essentially. If you notice, by the mail room, there was a cart, and that is a cart that you can use to bring your stuff up in. And they have several of them around. It's just a matter of, are you going to get one before somebody else does? So they do have plenty back there in the back apartment. So I would check there if you can't find any at all. So you'll see the back apartment once we get to the back of this apartment complex. But here's the lawn. This is a nice hangout area. I've had a lot of, once it was summertime, I was hanging out here a lot with my blanket, a pillow, and my school supplies and snacks, just hanging out on the lawn, nice little picnic area, if you will. They did have volleyball out there for a while. People brought their own volleyball supplies and set up a net. Like it's a nice little area. So here is the trash room, and you walk down a little bit more is the recycle room. You have certain bags you're supposed to use, certain things that's supposed to go in there. So please check your bins to see what is allowed in and out. Not out, but what's allowed in these bags that you're putting in. Because what's the point of recycling if you're not doing it right? Right. So you can see. In the other apartment across the way, they have the same rooms, a trash and recycle room, like basically right across from those same doors. So this was the Spear Hall. I think across is Carter. And, this is the lawn. Those dumpsters are only there for move in and move out. They're not there the whole year. And this was actually a nice area to collect a couple things. Like people would put free stuff out too. Unfortunately, it's like around the stinky trash cans. But, free is free. And they're just trying to get rid of stuff and make it convenient for the trash people if, people decide not to get anything or pick up their leftovers. So, but hey, thrifting right in front of your apartment can't get no better than that. You know what I mean? So, because there was people throwing out really like tables, shelves, clothes, like it was a whole bunch of stuff. I even got a George Foreman grill. Hello? Perfect condition? Hello? Because mind you, these people are moving back to home. They ain't got no room to put in their luggage. So whatever, you get the point. Nice little grill area. Another nice little lounge area. You go through this door, the other door, down the way. There's several entrances in the front, the back, this side right here. So, it has nice little lounge area outside. The grill, you can order, say, burritos, nachos, wings, fries. They have a lot of nice options, a lot of good options for food, beverages. They have ice cream. They have like store-bought ice cream, so they have Fantas and stuff, or they have fountain drinks. So a lot of nice options. It can be a little pricey. It can be a little pricey, but it's an option. So conveniently, if you're hanging out down here at the grill, you can use this bathroom right here in the laundry room. Again, need your badge to get in there, so don't forget it. But yeah, nice little bathroom area, nice little laundry mat here. You can use your Speed Queen app that you will download, and this essentially will help you pay for your laundry. So the Speed Queen app they load money into your app, into your account, and you get what, 180, 150. You get over $100 worth of laundry done. So that's about equal to 3 loads per week for the whole semester, and then they reload it once you come back from winter break. So you get it loaded twice. It should help for you. You know, it should work. It should last you the whole semester. For me personally, it definitely, I had money left over. So yeah, really, really great system. It does suck, you know, there was like 4 weeks that the service was down, that the app was down. So make sure you bring quarters just in case, because I went 3 to 4 weeks without washing my clothes because the service was down and I didn't have and I really didn't want to spend my money. Like, let's be real. Like, let's be so real. Like, I did not want to spend my money. I'm not working personally. So, you know, like, it just wasn't working for me. But, you know, just be cautious. Bring your quarters if you can. I did end up spending like $10, $7 maybe, $5 in quarters, just to get my laundry done. So, in that time period. But overall, you know, across the whole year, it was just them 3 weeks where we had that problem. So, you know, you know. So, this is the back of Glace Hall. That was the back apartment I was talking about, that you can find more carts at. This Glace Hall is the only place that Coppin students reside. So down there in the basement, I don't know what they got going on. I see people going down there all the time. It's like another probably little lounge area, little like party area you can go to. Now, mind you, I don't know what they got going on, so check it out yourself. See what you can find out if you want. And yeah, they got her up there. You know, you walk up the stairs, you're being watched. So Margaret's looking over you. So, okay, now we're walking to my apartment, you know, a little sign talking about trash, because there was, at one point, not gonna lie, somebody leaving their trash out their apartment, and, yeah, just trifling, but anyway, anyways, try to remind your folks to take out their trash, like, we're grown adults here. But yeah, so, you know, overall clean, you know, they really don't tolerate that. So if they know who's doing the trash, you can't smoke on campus, just so you know. You can smoke cigarettes, but just so you know, like, keeping it real, you can't smoke marijuana on campus. You have to go outside of campus. You know, around the apartment, you can go, like, you know, 10 feet down. There's a bench 10 feet down in front of the other apartment. And then you can go 10 feet down and walk towards the Safeway. And right there around this block here, mind you, also, you can't go down these stairs at all. A fire alarm will go off. But back to the point, if you walk down the road, there's a nice little area, benches and a water fountain. I would say check it out. That's a nice little smoke area if you must. So I thought this right here, this little road to recontracting might be important for you. You know, dates could change, so that's just a little peek at to what we were given this year as far as recontracting period. So the recontracting period was just notice of when we could sign up for our new housing. So now we're in the kitchen. We're in the apartment finally. Here's the kitchen with the stove. Worked pretty well. Oh, I forgot. Oops. I low-key forgot that we should have said something about those stove plates, because we couldn't get one of those stove plates to save our life inside the actual thingy. But it's all good. So this is the living room. It's a mess right now because it is move out day. But it's a small, quaint, nice little apartment you can decorate. You know, very roomy cabinets. Very roomy. Not much space. You know, every apartment is actually different. Every apartment is different in this place. Not every single one, but they definitely have different concepts, because I went upstairs to see somebody else's apartment, and their kitchen is pretty big. Like, it's the counter is long. It's just an open style, pretty much. It's an open style. So it was a bigger kitchen, bigger living room. But they had like 3 rooms instead of this 2 in this apartment. So oh, was it 3 or was it 2 as well? I'm sorry. I'm actually not sure. So, yeah, I think it was 2, because they had one person having a room to themselves, and then the other 2 lived they roomed together. So, you know, different apartments have different things, you know, so just be aware of that, that not every apartment is the same. Now this is our bathroom, you know, very cutesy. We had it decorated a little bit, or one of the roommates decorated a little bit, but those are gone now except the curtain. Now the curtain is the roommates, but so just be aware that you need to bring your own curtain or have something covering that window, because at night it gets a little skeptical if somebody can see in or not. And I'm not gonna lie, we had it open, we had wide open, and I would shower in the dark sometimes, but I like showering in the dark. You know, I like showering in the dark. It's peaceful. I'm in bright lights all day. It's just nice to unwind in the dark, but also yeah definitely partially because of the window being wide open. But you know, I put some towels on the windowsill at one point. Like, you know, you just do what you gotta do if you really feel the need to. So that was my solution. So we had curtains, you know, and they got hooks here. You know, they got several places where you could put your belongings, your towels, your hygiene products. You know, they had shelves in the bathroom. They had these counter spaces. You know, you just equally divide up with your roommates, suite mates, and it's low-key on a first come first serve as well, because I didn't even realize there was only 3 drawers and there's 4 of us in here, so I didn't even realize that somebody didn't have a drawer. But I would suggest bring your shower caddy, you know, bring something. It doesn't have to be a caddy. Bring a bag, you know, put all your stuff in a bag. That's what I ended up doing later in the year. At first, I had out everything in the bathroom, you know, all my stuff, beauty products and whatnot. But eventually, I just decided to take all my stuff out and then put it in a bag. So that seems pretty simple enough to carry all my things in and out, because there is people who will touch your stuff. You know, we had a pretty good dynamic here. We had a pretty good solid, you know, 4 people here in this apartment that wasn't trifling, I'll say. So we pretty much was able to trust each other with our things. So just be mindful of that, and I would say just maybe start off like that. Just try to be aware of all your belongings. Take everything to your room so you don't arise with conflicts. You know, things coming up missing. Keep everything in your room. Keep everything on your side. And just be aware of your belongings. That's all. So this is the room. This is the room. Yeah. So quite a bit of space. It is pretty small. So quite a bit of space under the bed. A little, not even a closet. Not even a closet, but you know, we have a closet space, an open closet. But I'm grateful though, you know, it's a space. It's a space. Um, but yeah, you know, just another drawers, nice little area to keep all your belongings. That's my extra hamper that I have clothes in, and then I had a regular hamper that I would keep on top of the green box that keeps all of my other beauty products in. Top of the closet, I kept folded clothes on. This door here, it locks. You have to lock it. You're supposed to lock it every time you leave the room to make sure, you know, not only keep your belongings safe, but it's a fire hazard for real, for real. So just be aware of that. Always keep your door locked. This is how the bedroom looks when it's not all done up. So this is my roommate's side of the room. And yeah, then that's my side of the room. And as you can, and I know I'm late mentioning this, and then that's the light switch. Boom. Bow. It controls both lights. So yeah, that, just be aware of that. And then here's the view from the room. And I know I'm a little late on this, but yeah, we did have like a little pantry area. Just kept all the food and, you know, anything extra. But yeah, this is the room looking naked now. It was so surreal moving out. So everything that was currently in my room fit into the cart, in which fit into the car perfectly. However, I did make a trip prior to this where I took some things home. So had I not done that, I would have either been making a trip that same day back here to get the rest, or I would have been leaving some stuff behind. So plan your things accordingly. All right, this is move out day. I just have to go get my food. The car is loaded, and I'll be free. I'll be finally a senior, and I will be graduating next year, 2027. Yay! That concludes this year.